Hey everyone, Daniel here, DFalcon304 on YouTube, and I wanted to take some time today to go over some of the highlights and give my impressions of Microsoft's E3 2016 briefing. There's a lot of news, a lot of games, a lot to get to, so let's get right into it. I want to lead off with a few games that were a personal highlight for me. First of being Gears of War 4, continuation in the long running, fantastic AAA. Gears franchise. Fell off the competitive multiplayer because I don't really like how that's played anymore, but the single player is still really great, so I'm looking forward to that. Forza Horizon 3. I'm a big fan of the Forza franchise. Loved motorsport for a long time. Horizon's like a nice vacation every once in a while. Horizon 3 takes place in Australia. Looks beautiful. Love it. And then Sea of Thieves from Rare. It's basically just a pirate role-playing game. Get some buddies together, take control of a pirate ship, and get out there and looking for treasure. Looks awesome. Really looking forward to that one as well. So getting more into the software side of things, Microsoft announced Xbox Play Anywhere. This is the title that they're giving to their cross-buy functionality. So now that the Xbox One has been updated to Windows 10, they merged the store, they're able to offer a cross-buy. So if you buy the games, their first-party games digitally, you can play it on both Xbox and Windows 10, and I think that is huge. And along with that, your saves go with you everywhere, and then you can also do cross-play. So a few of the games they announced, including Gears and Forza, co-op modes, you can play cross-play with anyone that's either Xbox or PC, which is awesome. And I think that's a great feature to add. And then that, along with existing stuff, and then a few other things they announced. So clubs, you can create a club for like-minded individuals that want to create a small community together. The examples they gave was like a Minecraft builder club or Division players in LA, which is kind of dumb, but if you utilize it within your friend groups, it seems like it would be pretty cool to get people together, share related things. Could be pretty cool, like if you have a clan or something, that'd be cool. Similar to essentially groups on Steam. Also looking for a group as a way to put out like an advertisement saying like, hey, I'm looking for people to do this specific game and this specific task in a game right now. So I think it would be really useful in something like Destiny. Right now you have to go through like a middleman websites to get people together to play Destiny if you don't have enough people for like a raid or something. Now that sort of thing is just baked into Xbox. So you'll be able to just do that sort of thing right there. If you don't have someone on your friends list playing and you want to do something, get an achievement knocked out real quick, go ahead and use that. And then they also announced Arena, which is a built-in tournament service. So if you're into your esports, that's going to be there for you now. And so I think on the software side of things, they're positioning Xbox as more as a ubiquitous platform, not just the OS that's on your Xbox. And I think they're going after Steam in a big way. Steam is, of course, a monopoly in the PC gaming space, and I think with these new features, as well as Play Anywhere, they're trying to get more people to play Xbox games, no matter what device you're using. And that's huge for them. Of course, there's the bad taste everyone has still from games for Windows Live, and that's understandable, but the Microsoft that put out games for Windows Live almost a decade ago now, very different from the Microsoft of today. The new Microsoft is very much about, in general, just putting their services, putting their products out to as many people that can use them as possible. And not to get too boring, but the corporate environment in Microsoft right now is very different than the one that put out games for Windows Live. They are very much willing to work with one another. It's not just forcing an Xbox thing into the PC. They're working together to try to bring more people in. And the OS itself is very different. So Windows Vista, which Games for Windows Live launched on, in Windows 7, it was impossible to put out a small update, or God heaven forbid, a feature update that wasn't in like a service pack or anything. And it was also difficult to do that in Windows 8 as well. In Windows 10, it's very, very easy for the developers of Windows, of Xbox, to put out a small update, a feature update even, that will fix things or address user feedback, or even, again, add features. Microsoft's been doing this to address people's issues with these initial universal Windows app games. And like Quantum Break launched kind of broken, but it's been updated. A lot of people had issues with this, the lack of display options in these universal Windows games, but those have been patched and features have been added as people gave their feedback. So give it a chance. It's not Games for Windows Live 2.0 like some people might think. But let's stop beating around the bush. Let's get to the big stuff. Microsoft announced 2 new consoles at E3. Big stuff here. So first up, the Xbox One S. This is a slim of the launch Xbox. It is 40% smaller, which is a big difference. They're saying this is the smallest Xbox ever, even smaller than the 360 Slim. The power supply is now internal. So if you had a 360, if you have an Xbox One, you know that there's a big old brick that you have to plug into an outlet. That part of the console is now built inside. So they made it that much smaller and even put that inside of there. So that is huge. And then also, let me just say, this console looks really sharp. This is easily the best looking Xbox ever made, outside of any special editions, of course, and just really, really nice. They're saying it'll play 4K media and Blu-rays. So if you have a 4K television, you'll be able to display all that properly through this new Xbox. And then it also has HDR, and that's a bit of a marketing term, and what it essentially means is that if you have a HDR display, so a television that is HDR, and you plug this Xbox into it, it will be able to display a greater range of colors and contrast, so things actually would look better. A couple of other things, they took the Kinect port out actually. So if you still want to use a Kinect, it'll still support it, but if you want to use a Kinect with the Xbox One S or Xbones, you will have to get an adapter. It's a $50 adapter that goes in USB, but it's a weird adapter. It's like a couple boxes and it needs its own power, so you have to plug that into a power outlet as well. It's kind of convoluted. But the option is there if you still want to connect. The Xbox One S does have a built-in IR blaster, so if you like using your Kinect to control your TV and audio system, that option is built to the box now. And then, of course, with the coming update to the OS, you can do voice commands over a headset. So the reason to have a Kinect is dwindling, essentially. HDMI pass-through is still in there, so if you like putting your cable box through your Xbox, that option is still built in. And then the controller that comes with it is slightly updated as well. It has a textured grip on the back now, like some of the standalone controllers that are being sold. They said the analog sticks are a little bit better, and it also has Bluetooth, so if you want to connect this controller more easily to a PC, so if your PC has a Bluetooth, it'll just connect and you won't have to buy that little dongle at all. Launch, it's coming out in August, 2 terabytes for $400, which I think is high. Then after that, they'll do a 1 terabyte for $350 and a 500 gig for $300. So when they say it's starting at $300, they really mean it's the 500 gig model. I wish that they had done at least the 1 terabyte as the base at $300. And then the 2 terabyte at $350, $500 is not enough nowadays, especially when these Xbox games start shipping with 4K assets, which I'll get to in a moment. But yeah, not too long after launch, I had to get a USB drive for my Xbox One because 500 is not enough. So I definitely think 1 is the bare minimum, but 2 should be the one to go with if you can. And then the big news, Microsoft announced Project Scorpio. This is their new console coming holiday 2017. So quick bullet points here. They didn't show a box, they just went over some details and kind of like laying out their plans. So Scorpio will offer true 4K gaming, high fidelity VR, and a couple bullet points, and then another like tech bullet point is it'll offer 6 teraflops of computing performance. And so let's go over those 3 things backwards real quick. So 6 teraflops, what does that mean? Teraflops, or more specifically flops, is a way to measure computing performance. So to put that into context, the current Xbox One is 1.3 teraflops, and everyone knows that the PS4 is a little bit more powerful than the Xbox One, and PS4 comes in at 1.8 teraflops. And so the way the math works out, that would make the Scorpio 4 times more powerful than the current Xbox One. And right now, the PS4 Neo, that is Sony's similar new console coming out next year, that's rumored to only be 4 teraflops. So the Scorpio would be significantly more powerful than even that as well. And honestly, this is huge. This is going to change the way how consoles work and the upgrade process, and just huge jump in performance. They said high fidelity VR, so Microsoft did not announce a VR headset with this. They're not working on one either. So they're presumably going to partner with either Oculus and the Rift, or HTC and Steam with the Vive. And they already partnered with Oculus to put in an Xbox controller into every Rift box. So you would think that they would partner with them to have the Oculus running on the Scorpio. And so the power of this new console is built in such a way that it can support these VR headsets that are out right now. And then true 4K gaming. Now this is the questionable thing about what they said about this new console, because 4K, that is essentially 4 times the resolution of 1080p. You could have 4 1080p displays within a 4K display. So that is a big jump in resolution. So in order for a game to have 4K assets and run smoothly, you need a lot of hardware. Nowadays, even graphics cards that offer 8 teraflops of performance struggle to run games at 4K ultra settings at just 30 frames a second. Now, that's kind of a brute force method. If developers are able to design their games with the Xbox Scorpios, or whatever they call it, the Project Scorpio box, with that in mind, if they fine tune it, they may be able to get games running at 4K smoothly on that box specifically, but we'll have to wait and see. This box will very much be an expensive box. So Microsoft's plan here is to have Xbox offering at every price point. So you've got the original and the Slim at around the $300 price point. Presumably the Scorpio it's going to be at least $500, maybe even $600 is my guess. And then above that even would be high-end PC gaming if you want to play Xbox games. And so that's their plan here, is to have an option available for everyone. So if you have a regular old television, you don't plan to upgrade to a 4K television, you don't have a 4K monitor, you still have your 1080p, okay, get the 1S. But if you do have this new 4K monitors or displays, or you want to play VR games, but you don't want the hassle of a PC, go ahead, get this high-powered Scorpio console. Or if you do have a high-end PC, but you want to get in and play the Xbox games, Microsoft wants to bring you into that family. They want you to get you to playing those games, and so that's why they're doing the Play Anywhere and having their games available on PC. And that's a really big shift for them. And it's a big shift for consoles in general too, because the Scorpio is within the Xbox One family. So all of the games, all of the accessories are both forward and backwards compatible. So any accessories, controllers, games that you have for Xbox One now will work on Scorpio. Anything that comes out after Scorpio launches will run on the original Xbox One. You don't have to worry about this being a new console with new games, so you can't play them on the old console. That is essentially a thing of the past now. And with these consoles, with the Xbox One and PS4 coming out on essentially off-the-shelf PC hardware, x86 processors, we no longer have to worry about backwards compatibility. So theoretically, every console that comes out in the foreseeable future that's running this will be running the same architecture because it's PC hardware. So all these games going forward are going to work on new consoles. Now, it raises the question as to whether or not there will be at what point there will be a cutoff point. So how many console revisions in is there a cutoff point where it's like, all right, this original Xbox One can't play these new games anymore because it's just that old? That's something we won't know until even after the Scorpio comes out, until whatever comes after that. But it's still very interesting to see how all this plays out, and it's very exciting. And of course, I'm excited, but we still have to see if Microsoft can deliver on it. They announced a lot of cool things. They are, behind Sony. They're essentially non-existent in the PC gaming market. So they're getting scrappy. They're being aggressive. They're trying a lot of unique things that only Microsoft is poised to do. A lot of these things Sony can't do because they don't have a platform as big as Windows to do a lot of these things. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. That will let me know if you enjoy this sort of thing where I go over the highlights of big announcements and share my thoughts. If you have any thoughts of your own for what Microsoft announced at E3, or you want to talk about E3 in general, post in the comments below. And then of course, if you want my thoughts in written form, I will link to that in the description box below. But other than that, thanks for watching. Bye.